Hi, Dr. Scott Watson here. We're going to do a project or a tutorial for a project in this video where we explain how to create some body percussion and then arrange them to create some beats. We'll do it in two stages. We'll set up a GarageBand dock and we'll record several body percussion sounds, either vocal sounds or clapping percussive sounds. And then we'll edit and arrange them. So right now I have a GarageBand empty project I've launched, and I'm going to ask GarageBand to set up a mic. I'm using my Snowball USB mic because it's a very easy setup, and go ahead and set up a track with that. And first I'm going to do a sound check. So I'm going to open up the Smart Controls and the Inspector where I have a record level slider, and let's go for a bass drum sound, like that kind of a sound. Now I'm going to use a kleenex tissue as my pop filter because I don't actually have a pop filter, and this is a very inexpensive way to remove the explosive sound that normally would be removed with a pop filter from that D at the beginning of the doo. So just to show you what I mean, let me turn off the count in, turn off the metronome. Let me actually record the bass drum without a pop filter. Doo. All right, so what I have is some distortion. Let me play it back. Doo. Yeah, so to remove that distortion, we're going to use a tissue. Now I still might need to adjust my trim settings down here, the record input level. So that's part of why you do a sound check. All right, here we go. Now it looks like I got a good signal. Let's hear it. Yeah, so I got a nice signal. In fact, I might even try a little bit louder, pull it up a little bit, and yeah, I'm watching my VU meter over here, and I saw that it did not pop up. So let's try to re-record that one. Okay, I did it twice because I saw the first one distorted. I'm going to put a little split in here. Command T is split. Get rid of that distortion one, and let's just save this one. Let's hear it. Yeah, it's nice. Has a lot of heart to it, but it doesn't distort. All right, so I'm going to duplicate. Go to the track menu, new track with duplicate settings. Gives me another track, and now I can do another vocal percussion sound. This is going to be a snare drum sound. And so again, I'm going to use my tissue pop filter. Excuse me. So let's try that. All right, now I did it a few times because I wanted to get a strong signal but not a distorting signal. The last one, I'm just looking at the screen, and it goes almost up to the dynamic range of the track but not passing it. So again, Command T, put a split, get rid of the opening, and let's just hear that, solo that track. Yeah, I like it. All right, good. So actually, let me mute these opening two tracks, but I will now set up another track with duplicate settings. And in this case, we're going to record just a clap. So here I go, rewind. Actually, I'm going to pull back the record settings. Doing a sound check, I can see that would have popped really distorted. Okay, so now that I have my four sounds, we can go into the next stage, maybe applying some DSP plugins. So for instance, each of these tracks, I'm going to go into library here and use some kind of reverb, compression, things like that. The easiest way to do it would be to use presets. So for instance, for this bass drum, go into electric guitar and bass, crunch bass, and crunch cab. Just listen to how different the bass drum now sounds with those plugins applied to it. Better solo it. Okay, here we go. All right, there's a little bit of it's not a clean signal at the beginning. Let's get rid of all this. There we go. Go right up to it. In fact, we probably want to do that to every one of these sounds. We want to remove everything up to when the energy of the sound actually starts. So, whoops. Here we go. So that's our first editing. We're actually now getting into the editing of the sound a little bit. I'm using the resize. If you grab the region on the bottom left, you'll see that it's a resize tool rather than a loop tool. Okay. And let me drag this back. I'm also going to resize this side of it while I'm at it. There we go. Okay, so let's hear what our crunch cab sounds like. That's pretty neat. So I think I'll keep that. Go to the snare drum sound. I have a folder called Legacy, Jam Pack, Drums. If you don't have these folders, that's okay. Just use what you have. Let me try vocoder drums, see what that sounds like here. Interesting. Detailed drum, try that. Crunchy drums. It's too much like the other one, though. Edgy drums. Element isolator. That has a little echo in it. Isolated sub bass drum. That really low res drum. Quarter pulse drum. Thickened drums. Well, I think I'm just going to leave it on thickened drums for now. And then my third sound here, my clap. Okay, I'd like to just do something different here. I'm going to just on that channel, go down here and turn the reverb up. Turn the ambience up. Turn the compression on. I'm going to hyper compress it, see if that does anything. A little bit. Okay, so I've done just some manual DSP plugins with that one. And then lastly, our snap. Let's go into voice. And this is really out of the, I'm applying a voice plugin to a snap. But let's see what happens. Tube. Solo that track. That's pretty neat, actually. Yeah, I think I'll just use tube. Okay, so I've got my sounds. Now, arranging them is a whole other business, and that's where you have to think of rhythms and how they occur. So just say for now we're going to start with something very simple like do ch do ch, right? So I would need to have a bass drum. Actually, I'm going to move my bass to the bottom because I'd kind of like to have that there. I'm going to move my snare drum right above it, and then move my clap and snap. So I'm reversing the order just so I can think about low being bass, then as we go up higher. Don't need to have the smart controls open for this. And I'm going to do a little copying pasting. Now the quickest way to copy is to option drag. So I'm going to option drag my bass drum region on beat 1 and beat 3. Let me just show you what that sounds like. Right, if I do it to a metronome, which might be helpful. Right, now let's put the snare drum on beat 2 and beat 4. See, I'm using the guides up here. So this is measure 1, measure 2, but right here, this little tick mark shows me where beat 2 is. Okay, I'm right at it, where the playhead is beat 2. Then I'm going to option drag over to beat 4. So now I have. Right, now I can see I need to do a little mixing, bring the snare drum, my vocal snare down. Try that. Right, now for the clap, I'm going to do I'm going to option drag this. In fact, let me just loop it. I'll just grab it and loop it. Right. There it is. Right, so now I have. Actually, it doesn't turn out that it's exactly on the beat. So let me undo that. Zoom in. I needed to basically edit this snare drum so that it is, before I loop it, it has to be exactly an 1/8 note long or a 1/16 note long or whatever I decide. So let's go for 1/8 note. So there we go. And now I'm going to loop it, and you'll see that it fills up exactly, right? Exactly 2 of these per measure. Let me zoom out a little bit so I can do the whole 2 measures. Okay. There we go. So now I have. Right, and then with my snap, maybe I'll do something a little syncopated, like every 3 1/8 notes. So let me option drag that one there, option drag this one 3 later, option drag this one 3 later, option drag this one 3 later. It's going to give it a really neat syncopation. I think I'll just do it 2 later here, so we have like da 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 da, that kind of thing. What happened there? Okay, option and drag. All right, just want to solo that one so you can hear it with the metronome. All right, so let's hear them all together. Right. Now, once I've done that, another thing you could do is export this rhythm. So share, export song to disk, and let's just call it beat pattern 1. And I'm going to do it full quality and put it on the desktop and export. Actually, AIF would be full quality. All right, export. And set up a second document. Let me save this for now, though. And we'll call it body percussion workspace. Okay, save that on the desktop. But my next thing is going to actually be my body percussion piece. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in beat pattern 1. There it is. Let's put a metronome to it too. 2, 3, 4. So now I could use that over and over again, right? I could loop that again and again and again, but have other stuff happening on top, right? Dum, 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 right? So I could have a bass line, I could have other body percussion, I could have all sorts of other events. Anyway, that's how you create a beat using body percussion.